It's definitely starting to feel like fall. The temperatures are cooling off, and the trees all around are starting to change colors. Made me think a little bit more about what it was like the first time I took a hike in the mountain trails and really walked amongst the fall colors for the first time. Really immersed myself in it and what it felt like, and how fortunate I am that I get to experience this. You're listening to me, Wendy, your host, for Life Reimagined, a podcast about how I'm re envisioning my whole life going forward in my 50s. And today I'm talking about how I discovered hiking in my 40s and how incredible it is this time of year. Although I was born a Yankee in Michigan and my family lived in Ohio when I was young, we moved to Florida during my high school years, and my focus was always swimming and warm weather activities. I absolutely love the beach and hanging out in shorts and flip-flops and sunscreen, and for the longest time I did not long for mountain living. I had no exposure to mountains. My family did not go camping, hiking, or anything that involved eating granola. I knew it existed. People lived in tents. Songs like those from John Denver, and then movies and images of other people enjoying the outdoor life in the mountains and on the trail were out there and enticing. But in my 20s and 30s, I was too busy focused on my career and relationships to really give mountain life a go. I took my first ski trip and lessons with my sister after graduating college, and it was my first time actually on a mountain. That whole learning to snow ski is a story for another day. But it started something inside both my sister and me that ultimately led us both to moving out west and dipping our toes into more of mountain life. I didn't understand it before then, like what was the big deal about hiking? It's only walking, for goodness sakes. It doesn't even look hard, doesn't look like anyone's exercising, and it really doesn't look like it's anything that enjoyable. But I was surrounded by others in my new hometown who went to mountains regularly and were avid hikers, so I thought I'd give it a try. So when I tried hiking, I truly mean I dipped my toes in at the time. I started with easy hikes close to Denver and with the other guys and gals that I met through other friends, other meetups, and biking. I bought my first hiking boots and backpack, started learning about this whole new world. And what was great for me was that my friends all had experience in knowing where the trails were, how to read maps, how to find them, how to understand different descriptions about the trails, and to tell me and recommend what I needed to have to really get started and make sure I was safe on the trails. I liked it, of course, but it surprised me quite a bit. It was beautiful, amazing, the cleanest and sweetest outdoor air I'd ever seen and smelled, and it was full of wonderful new sights. It was harder than I expected with that whole going up the hill thing. I, of course, did not understand we were hiking at higher elevations than where I lived, so my heart rate and breathing were responding much higher than I expected, and it actually felt like exercise, but in a good way. I was not a gal who loved the gym, and I did not like the idea of walking on a treadmill. It was boring to me, but this was way different. This was a way to walk and help maintain my cardiovascular fitness with low impact. Not only that, but as I'm getting older, I could probably do this for a longer time. Hey, kind of pretty cool. So I was 46 years old when I went on my first true hike on a trail in the Rocky Mountains, and little by little, I began to learn all about hiking. I took on longer and more aggressive trails and grew my collection of great gear to support my new healthy addiction. I've hiked over 15, what we call in Colorado, 14ers, again, a topic that's coming in a future podcast. Also completed numerous epic hikes and now lead hiking groups. But the past few weekends, I have been reveling in the change of seasons in my Colorado hometown. I experienced fall or autumn as a kiddo in Ohio and the Midwest, and also for a bit when I was in college in Nashville, but I still spent more time as a young adult in Florida, South Carolina, and Texas, And the leaves changing were pretty short-lived and not always so spectacular. So I feel very fortunate that I found this new activity and literally this whole new world of being out on the trails in the mountains over the past 10 years, and that I have so many more to explore. Each season brings its own unique beauty, like the winter snow hikes with tons of this fluffy white snow against the bright blue skies, or the gorgeous green colors and the creeks flowing faster in the spring, or this amazing color fest and sea of wildflowers in the summer. All are wonderful. But there's a whole other world that happens in late September and early October that changes all the greens to the most amazing mixture of yellows, oranges, and reds along the mountain trails. The fall is incredible. The air is crisp and I have to bring additional clothing layers, but I don't mind. The weather cooling usually is a nice break from the summer heat, and the changing colors make me walk along the trails so much slower, as I have to keep stopping and take a gazillion photographs of the splendor. And although the photographs are pretty, they still can't capture what it feels like in person. What it's like to walk along a quiet trail of dirt and rock with wild grasses all around, with lightly flowing creeks and yellow, red, and orange leaves falling quietly and gently around you, creating like this sensation of like sweet light confetti dropping along as you walk. It's a way to truly connect in and with nature, and it's honestly a place I feel closest to God. It's quiet, and I'm doing something that really helps my physical health, my mental health, because nobody's emailing me or phoning me or needs my attention, and my emotional health. I can peacefully reflect and refocus on what's important as I slowly walk along the path. It only lasts a few weeks, and you do have to plan ahead and be ready to go for good weather, especially if you live in an area away from the changing leaves. If you haven't yet experienced this feeling of walking on a wooded or mountain trail in the incredible tapestry of fall colors, I hope you'll consider penciling this in your calendar next year. If you have to travel, you can fly or road trip somewhere you've not yet visited. And if you want to go somewhere popular, I think of like the leaves up in the New England area, out west here, there's plenty of places. But remember to plan a year ahead and book lodging before everybody else snaps it up. Some of these epic hiking locations and national parks literally book up a year ahead. So you'll have to do some research online about the best times to go, recommended sites, and when you actually have to make your reservations. I have resources and recommendations available on my website at DestinationU.net that can give you great places to check out, hiking trail ideas, and links in my store for great gear you should bring along, including a free hiking checklist to download. I actually have two versions, one for warm weather and one for cold weather. I have more detailed recommendations on how to take your epic hike in my private Inspiring Your Next VIP community. I also have a video version of this podcast on my YouTube channel with images of some of the most amazing fall colors, and I invite you to check it all out. I hope you take the time now, or that you commit to plan for next year and immerse yourself in a wonderful time of year, in beautiful fall colors, and a sweet, sweet time of change. Thanks for listening, and I hope I get to see you out on the trails.